Hello there, traveler. Welcome to the castle. Or, I guess more accurately, Lake of Gods, by Dieu. I'd like to share my thoughts about a book I've read, if you're willing to indulge a dragon. Thank you, traveler. Let's begin. Symphony of Awakened Gods is a novel written by Leilani Wilson and published by Gull Publications. Gull Publications is no longer in business, but you can ask how to get copies of the book in the Alancia Discord channel. Please note that the Discord is for folks 18 years of age and older. This entry in the series is the one that I think sees the most change in the status quo over the course of the length of the book. The dynamics of a bunch of relationships change, and it's interesting to see how the characters navigate their new normal. Of particular note is the relationship between Verse, Karina, and Lyricos, which gets a lot of attention in this book. We also get to see where Basil and Cecilia have been all this time, and it was nice seeing them back in the action again. The story this time focuses on the rapidly destabilizing relations between the east and the west sections of Verse's home of the southern Kurlensian Empire. As the characters search for Lyricos across the Empire, they have to contend with the Knights as an organization, health and wellness camps for Elia, and a growing civil unrest at the east not having enough resources to survive. These and more help to show how the characters react to real-world analogs of these issues in police brutality and conversion therapy. It's also a clever way to show that just because it's a fantasy world doesn't mean that Verse and company will be able to sidestep those social issues. I think one of the core themes of this book is having the courage to fight for something you love. Verse has been a typical aloof protagonist in most of their scenes, feigning that they don't care because they're afraid of getting close to people and hurting them in the process. But as that shell cracks, they realize that's not the way they want to live their life, and that when you give a damn about something, you might just have to fight tooth and claw for it. I also appreciated the answers to the many questions that have been set up in books 1 and 2 of the series. If you're a long-time reader and have wanted to know more about Verse's backstory and their family, then I'm happy to say you'll get those answers. One of my favorite bits while reading this was a single sentence that gave me chills as I read it, and that's not an easy feat to do. As evidenced by the title, gods play a larger role, and I think Leilani does a good job of showing that they are just as valuable as the other folks in Alancia. The growing cast of various characters can make it difficult to keep up with who all is involved in which plots at any one given time. Factor in that some of the gods have a couple different aliases, and that can get confusing fast. My other criticism is that the ending finds a way to group all the main characters up for a big climactic battle, and while I really enjoyed the scene once we got there, I felt like the setup was a bit too convenient. On a more positive note, one of the aspects of Leilani's writing style that I often forget to touch on is the sense of urgency and excitement that comes with it. I look forward to these books partially because, once I start reading, it's very hard to put down again. All that being said, I'm really happy with the character growth and am eager to see where the next book takes us in Alancia. Until next time, curl up with a good book and be kind to yourself.